Hi everyone, my name is Megan Weber. Thank you for joining us today for Pompeian's Olive Oil 101 webcast tasting. You all should have received a tasting kit in the mail, which you can use to participate in the webcast today. Before we get started, we wanted to let you know that if you have a question, you can submit it in the comments below the video, or you can email Erin or myself, and we'll make sure to ask it for you. If for some reason we don't get to it today, then we'll make sure to follow up with you via email tomorrow. Now we want to introduce you to Dr. Sirachi, who is the Vice President of Product Quality and Research and Development at Pompeian, and he'll be leading you through tonight's webcast. He'll start by telling you a bit about Pompeian as a company and his role there. Then comes the deliciously fun part, which will actually be the olive oil tasting. So Luisito, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Megan.
Thank you.
Hello to everybody. I hope everybody is going to be excited as I am in this moment to go through this webcasting. It's the first time for me. My English can be not perfect, so don't hesitate to asking if you don't understand something. And first of all, a few words about me. Okay, I'm Dr. Luisito Cercaci, and I'm a Vice President of Quality and Research and Development at Pompeian. My background, I'm a food scientist and chemistry, but I want to say my passion is olive oil. I'm an expert on olive oil. That's why I'm here now. And few words about Pompeian. Pompeian, I don't know how many of you know, Pompeian is based in Baltimore, in the US. And actually, we are the oldest company in the country, in this country. And I'm very proud, because it's important. And I wanna tell you about, in which way we normally bring oil in a round to, let's say, to Baltimore. And actually, main of my job is to take care and be sure that Pompeian, the quality that oil that Pompeian put in the bottle is always the highest quality that you can find in the round. That's why I'm here. And for just to give you an idea, olive oil can come from all over the place. We are used to bring oil from northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Olive oil crop is different in south and north. We have a full crop in Mediterranean area, northern hemisphere. We have crop in the south, like South American and South Africa and Australia during the summer. So for us, that's the way to bring the freshness and the flavor and put together to always get, the best quality and the best, flavor consistency during the year. Say that we wanna highlight how it's important for Pompeian quality and how we try to be different and better than the other, to, let's say, open our door to the third-party authority control. You're going to listen more later about USDA and North American Olive Oil Association as, let's say, VLC, but we actually invite a third party to come to our factory and go through everything, purity, quality, traceability to the source of the oil. And that is something that actually we are the only one here in the US that can carry this logo, both of the logo, USDA 20 program on olive oil and North American Olive Oil Association itself. So say that, let's starting to speak about our tasting. And I think all of you are supposed to be receive at home this wonderful tasting kit that we actually sent to you. So I'm going to ask you now that just to follow and try to say open the tasting kit, bring your pantry inside mat and put in front of you. Then inside the box you will find 6 bottles of a different oil, and in the middle you will find these blue cups that I'm going to tell you later about that. And I want to ask you, please, to put one blue cup in plastic on top of the, let's say, each kind of oil that we're going to taste in later, and then in the meantime that we're going to speak about, I want to ask you to open and pour carefully a little bit of oil I would say no more than, less than half a finger, 2 milliliters in each cup. Just be sure, please, that you tight again when you put back, and then that you put the let's say the good one in the rank in the good position. For instance, now I'm going to put the pure olive oil in the second position. I hope I don't go too fast. And we are going to do the same for the extra light that we will see later. What does it mean and when you can. I know that the majority of you they are very expert in cooking, so I think most of you already know everything about olive oil. So it's easy for me because nobody can call me directly to tell me that you already know everything about that. But so now we are going to pour the. I'm on the Michelin section, so the almost the last one. And the last one on the right side. Now, assuming that everybody is ready in this position, now I'm going to tell you a few words about, let's say which is the process and why it's so important to, tasting. It's not just finding and something nice to see. There is a lot of, study behind it. It's very important. It's very critical for make a judgment about the quality of olive oil. And I'm going to ask you again to pick the blue cups. Then, by the way, I'm going to tell you even why is blue in color, and just waiting for and looking for what I'm doing now. You don't need to do the same stuff that I'm doing now. I want to just go explain you and spend a couple of words on the process and why it's important to tasting the oil. So olive oil, we are going to speak about later about each kind of different olive oil and extra virgin olive oil, is the only one that actually have to do this process, this judgment on sensory evaluation by rule requirement. Is the only food right now in the world that actually have to pass to very rigorous chemical taste parameter and also sensory parameter. And I tell you, this is my life. I do this work for more than 25 years. You always need to learn something that is very exciting. So when we speak about sensory and we speak about sensory evaluation, first of all, maybe some of you already asking to yourself why the cup is blue. Maybe it's easy to understand. The cup is blue because for rule point of view, for agreement, worldwide agreement, the color of the oil, it shouldn't be something that make you affect your judgment. So the color is dark and blue because you shouldn't have any influence by the color of oil. So it means green, yellow, gold. It doesn't mean nothing. You can have wonderful oil. It doesn't matter which color the oil has. So that's the first picture, the first information to you. Second, as you see, I'm always trying to turn it around. We're going to do together later with the plastic cup. I'm going to turn it around in my hand in order to warm it up a little bit of oil, and I keep close. That is a very important to follow, because in this way you warm it up a little bit the oil, and you're going to be able to volatilize all the flavor compound that actually can give you the information about oil. So speaking about tasting, as I told you, it's going to be, let's say, mostly two different processes. One is to check about the smell. So we're going to smell, let's say, very short time, 10, 15 seconds, maybe repeat 2 times. And after that, you're going to lose the sensibility of your nose. So you have a very short time to make your judgment. And what we are going to smell? We're going to smell flavor, so fruitiness. Fruitiness is one of the positive attributes of extra virgin olive oil, and you will see what does it mean later, but it means, in some way, to be brief, really a sound of the good olives that come from the tree, fresh or ripe. It doesn't matter. And also after we smell and we catch the odor, we can always we also put our the oil, a little bit of oil in our mouth on the tongue, and we're going to do what we call stripping, and we're going to do an evaluation about the gustatory parameter. So we're going to speak about, other positive attributes as bitterness and pungency, and we're going to check another very important point for extra-regional oil and sensory analysis. So the presence, actually the absence of any kind of defect. So defect is a big word in this case, because defect is mean of flavor. Then there is a lot of training, a study, and lot of people and years of education in order to understand and call in the good way the defect. But just for now is a off flavor. So what we don't want to smell, what we don't want to have in our oil. So now I'm going to show you. You don't need to follow me, but it's important that you see what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to explain all the process. So let's say the oil is warming up. Now I'm going to smell. So a few seconds to catch the flavor, to understand there is a defect or not, to see which kind of smell you have, green, rattly, and all the wonderful stuff that you can get with a wonderful product as oil. Then I'm going to do something that is not very good to show to the TV, but it's the way to do. I'm going to sip a little bit, 2-3 milliliters of oil. I'm going to try to stripping and move the oil in my tongue. This operation needs to be done carefully, because if you go too fast, you're going to bring the oil in your throat, and it's not dangerous for you, but you're going to lose the possibility to catch some positive attributes as a bitterness, that normally we have more sensitivity to the back of the tongue. So the operation that I did is called stripping. It means you try to keep close your teeth and actually let the air go through the oil and stripping the flavor, the odor. So in this way you can get two perceptions. The retronasal perception, that is a confirmation of the odor, plus the gustatory perception. So you're going to see in your tongue the bitterness, the pungency, and the kind of total, let's say, sensation, even done by the viscosity and the density of the oil. So that's actually is in very few minutes, or actually is a way to do testing and sensory, and to do a sensory evaluation of olive oil. I have no time to go in deep, but you need to believe me that there is people who do this work, and I'm doing this work in Pompeian with our panel. We have 12 people that every 15 days is going to be under training, because at the end is the best way, the faster way, without paying $1,000 in analysis or 2 days in analysis, to get the point, to understand if the oil is good or not. So now we are going to do together. I hope everybody is ready. You can have something to split, or you can split back to the plastic cup, because now you can do it this way. So let's do together again, and keep the cups here close to warm it up a little bit, and close with the other hand the cups. Now we are going to testing for the first time the extra virgin olive oil. So in the meantime, we're going to warm it up the oil. Let me say a few words about extra virgin oil. What is it? Extra virgin olive oil is the best quality of olive oil that you can find. It means it's a mixture of different extra virgin blended together to have the best flavor, and there is a lot of parameter, chemical and sensory that you need to check. But say one of the most important, or one of the easy to speak about, is the acidity. You see, it means the acidity. There is an overall indication of the quality of the oil. It needs to be below 0.8%. In this case, and also you have up to 30 chemical parameter that also need to have under specification. But what I want to tell about acidity, for instance, that just because we start to statement that Pompeian actually would like to give you the best, and so I wanna highlight to you that our oil actually is also above and behind this limit, because after we commitment to the people to have acidity below 0.5. So, and to be brief, acidity, the less is the acidity, the best is the oil, and also the long is the shelter. So, and also extra virgin olive oil, as we say, goes through a lot of control requirements. Let me spend 2 words about USDA. I already told you in North America. It's, I can stay here and tell you, and I can stay here for 3 hours, but what is more important than third-party authority that come to you with an open door, check, and and allow to you to put the seal on. So that's something I'm very proud to say to you that we are the only one who can carry both of these. So now we are ready to start with the first sample. Again, be concentrated, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So do with me and just be concentrated on the smell. Go. Okay, you will feel, actually, you have a perception of the fruitiness, but in this way is a medium fruitiness. And the kind of fruitiness is the kind of fruitiness that actually we try to develop, especially for the US customer, because as I told you, we are here in Baltimore and we are focused on the US customer. And actually here you smell the fruitiness of a sort of balance between red and green. And then if you taste, again, 2-3 milliliters in your mouth, and then keep your head in this position when you do sipping, so you better manage the movement of the oil in the tongue without bring too fast to the throat. So now you start to see in your tongue, you start to perceive the bitterness that is very balanced, and now you start to perceive the pungency that come, from the throat. Don't be worried, there is no any problem. It's a normal reaction of, the nerve that we have. It's the only way to get this kind of spiciness, peppering. And actually, let me tell you that's something very good, because bitterness and pungency, it comes from polyphenol or biophenol. So what everybody knows as an antioxidant, something that is good for protect the oil and is good for your health. So pungency and bitterness is a positive attribute of the extra virgin. What again need to be absolutely absent from extra virgin is any kind of off flavor defect. Rancid, musty, metallic, earthy, humid. There is a long list of them, and every kind of defect is linked with the improper process or low quality of the oil. That's why sensory is so important. So now, for instance, extra virgin olive oil, you can understand by yourself. It's going to be good to do something like soup, vegetable, dipping, this kind of use, because you have all this flavor that can use, and you can even change the flavor of your food if you use a different kind of extra virgin. Now we want to move to another kind of oil that actually is very popular here in the US. It is the Pompeian Classic Pure olive oil. So in the meantime, I'm going to explain you a few words about this oil. I would like to ask you to do the same operation that we did before. So we're going to be ready later. So you try to warm it up and keep cool. So olive oil. Pure olive oil is a mixture between extra virgin olive oil and refined olive oil. Is olive oil that actually is go through a refined process that do not make any alteration of the healthy property of the oil, and let's say as a fatty acid decomposition, but in some way help you to have a smooth and better flavor. So the combination of these two, actually, you will taste. We can do together, but you will taste. They are going to give you, let's say, a very, let's say, just a hint of the flavor of olive oil. But the main goal of this product, that with this product you can have a a higher resistance to the temperature. So to use a word that I think you know very well, the smoke point of this product, this oil, is way higher than the one before. So you can use this one to do different kind of dishes. First of all, deep frying or stir frying, or even marinating, whatever. So let's try to see now, and you will see, first of all, the smell. So here the smell, you can get, honestly, you can get, because there is a high percentage of extra virgin olive oil here, you can get something that is more smooth. So when you don't like to have, high, strong olive oil flavor, that's the kind of oil that you want to use, especially for fry. Now, if you taste, let's do it together again. So when you taste, you suddenly can get the difference between this one and the other, because here the flavor is a right combination, but there is no comparison with the one before. Even in this case, in the meantime that we go through the third one, so the extra light in tasting olive oil, and I want to show you something. Maybe you can clarify to you. I don't know if you can see that. Here is what we're tasting now, by the way. This was the extra virgin, this was the Pompeian pure, and now we actually tasting the extra light. As I told you before, color, it shouldn't give you any information, but in this case, it's just to let you know how even visually you can see the difference. And actually, why the extra light is, let's say, the reason because extra light. Because extra light in tasting actually is for the people that really they don't want to cover the food, some kind of food, for, let's say, with any kind of flavor. So here you have just healthy, stable high temperature oil that it doesn't cover what you want to cook. And if you taste, let's do it together. Did you see here? This is just straight olive oil, just straight, let's say, extra light tasting olive oil. And I hope it's easy for you to get the differences, because it's very easy to get. This one is very light, smooth, and it could be wonderful also for fry, but I would say for let's say roasting, for, let's say, do soup and salad when you don't want to have a strong flavor, I would say before. So that's actually is the three kind of oil that we want to first of all explain to you, to let you understand the difference about this oil and actually the different use of this oil in the kitchen. So that's what I want to really highlight to you. Then, speaking about the next part of the training process that really I would like to bring you, I would like to let's say present to you, if you don't know, not really know about that, I will present to you the premium, let's say, line, what we call varietal collection, that actually is our, let's say, premium line. And actually these three different kind of extra virgin olive oil, it comes from different kind of variety, different type of oils. We call it cultivar, but it means different kind of oils. And I want to just to explain you in the easy way. Think about wine. When you have wine, everybody try to approach the wine and just to try to understand the bouquet, the flavor. So there's a Pinot, is a Merlot, is Cabernet Sauvignon, and whatever you want. So it's come normally to approach the wine just to, with this kind of interest, with this kind of curiosity. So olive oil is the same. It's always better because these olives, the extra virgin olive oil, it comes directly from the plant. You cannot do nothing. You can just blend together to have a balance, but it comes from directly from the plant, and you cannot do nothing. Just pressing, crushing, pressing, and put in the bottle. So let me do a comparison that is not fair for the people who do wine. But in this case, if you do something wrong, there is no way to go back. You need to do something very with passion and good to get the flavor, to bring directly the flavor from the plant to the bottle. If you do something wrong in the middle, it's done. You cannot go back and change and do something. That's why I'm so proud to speak about this product, because it's not just because it's healthy, but because it's wonderful and it's my passion. Okay, back to the varietal. We say we are going to start to do the same stuff, and now I'm going to bring you in the extra virgin section, but it's a premium line. So it means 3 different kinds of olives that you can play with to create a different food and to change slightly or even strongly the flavor of your dishes. Just change the oil. And I told you because I tried more than once, and actually it's wonderful what you can get just by changing the extra virgin oil. That, by the way, is good for you. It doesn't matter which it. And before I go through, I want to tell you also that actually we will see. I don't want to say there is not one country that can produce the best olive oil, but for sure, from any place in the world, you can get a wonderful olive oil. So the best is really the best can come from everywhere, and the best sometimes is what you prefer. But when we spoke about from certain level to high, so when we spoke about good extra virgin olive oil, the best is what you like more, and it doesn't matter where it comes from. So now we're going to taste the Arbequina varietal. Why we choose Arbequina? We choose Arbequina because first of all, it's very mild and sweet, and that's actually can give you let's say, but it's fresh, and in the meantime can give you some particularity, some peculiarity that is come from just Arbequina. It's a very popular type of olives or cultivar, and you will see. So let's go together. I think you're ready now. So again, 10-15 seconds, be concentrated. I know we're supposed to put more time between one sample and the other, let you refresh, give you a little bit of water that I suggested to you to drink if you wanna, or a slice of apple to clean your mouth. But you can do exercise by yourself at home, so you need to know that that's the way to do. Now we do fast because we want to do in a short time. So let's do together. So here the fruitiness is a medium, let's say light medium, and it's very, balanced between green and ripe. But you can really smell, and then so here, I hope everybody tastes different. So you have this flavor, very nice and round fruitiness. You have for sure I would say a mild section, so not too bitter. You have a little bit of pungency because I told you pungency is a healthy stuff, and also you can have a flavor, a hint of a green almond if you wanna. Some people find apple, depending of the season, depending of the country. This one, for instance, comes from Morocco, and actually is from that country. You have most of the case more green almonds and a little bit less than. Sometimes you have a tomato perception. So this is what we actually use, what we call a mild body, and the reason because we start to do, let's say, this varietal is because we want to give a possibility to use a flavored, very fruitiness oil, but in the smooth area. So you can use, for instance, for something delicate like fish or vegetable that you want to cover. That's the place to put. That's the oil to use in that case. And Okay, it doesn't matter. A week ago, I tasted a ice cream done by Albertina. It was wonderful. So if you are able to do, let's do ice cream. But the really place to go is fish, salad, something very, or marinated, something that you don't want to do without lose fruitiness, without lose good perception. You have something small. Now, I already take in my hand the Michelin. Uh, In this case, we go little by little to the higher level of fruitiness, and maybe some of you already have a perception of a pungency. So again, don't be worried. Take a little bit of a sip of water. It's just not dangerous. By the way, it's good for your health, and it's the way to do it. It's a positive attitude. So, Picholine also comes from Morocco. It's very typical from Morocco, by the way, and actually, to give you, Picholine is the kind of oil that normally the people use to do marketing, but we don't speak about marketing here. We speak about the use of Picholine. So let's do smell together. You are going to smell here for sure. I'm sure that you are going to smell more, let's say, a different kind of fruitiness. So ready to go? Yeah, it's definitely completely different fruitiness, more on the green area, more on the, yes, like I don't want to say like a grass, but it can be defined like a grass. And then when you tested this one, go smooth and try to give your time in your mouth to move the oil in around. I'm guessing that all of you suddenly perceive the completely different situation. So this is the bitterness come, and then after the bitterness, you always find the pungency in around and your throat. It's a persistent. It's not high level, but it's a persistent. And again, that's is a professional tester. You normally don't have this perception when you use this oil on the food. But we are here to provide to let do together a professional way to testing. So you normally in this case you get a lot of perception because you put a lot of oil in your tongue. But in any case here you can find this actually this fresh green grass that come to you. Sometimes you can find even I would say not tomato leaves, but you can find different perception. But definitely there is a medium body between bitterness and pungency. Even the pungency a little bit later, it comes later.
And that oil is great for using in meats and sauces.
Yeah, thank you. No, you're right. Yeah, this actually is very good to something that you want to have a strong flavor on it, maybe meat, sauce, and yes, definitely even soup if you want to have a strong flavor. Thank you so much. And let's go to the last one. There is another type of olive that we call coronati. This is come from in this case from Greece, but you can find a wonderful coronati even in a different country as in the Mediterranean area. And this one actually is the better. I would say there is a better balance in this oil. And you will see the fruitiness here is still in the green area, but there is a different kind of perception of green. So let's do. Yeah, it's still here. You can see herbs. You can see grass. It's something very green, fresh. But let's taste together so we can even go through later. Yeah, this is definitely a different kind of bitterness, and also a better balance between pungency and bitterness. Always, I always found in this guy, I would definitely find a memory, a hint of artichoke or even tomato in this one. Very, and I like very much this kind of retronasal perception. So this is the let's say very briefly a, a short sensory training for you, and also give to you a, a, a roughly idea about the different kind of oil, what is important, why you need to use one instead of the other one, and how is important to approach the oil in a different way. It's not just a condiment. Is the king of the table. You can do a lot of stuff, and you have a lot of choice in around. Again, don't forget, quality is our goal. I'm here, by the way, because I strongly believe in this project. When the CEO of this company called me a long time ago, I was fascinated for his idea about quality and what we want to do. And but me and but the CEO of this company, what is important that you have other people that come to you, come to your company, check you, and so it's a sort of an extra trusting. And also, you see, we carry both of them, USDA and North American olive here.
Great. So just for all of our pantry insiders, we're going to move on to a Q&A portion. So if you have any questions for Luisito, please either comment below the webcast or reach out to myself, Megan, or Aaron with your question. So I know we've gotten a couple so far, but Luisito, before we jump into that, I know you mentioned the countries of origin for the varietals. Can you tell our pantry insiders that might not know a bit about treatabottle.com?
Oh yeah, you're right. You will see under, you have a possibility under our bottle of a variety to go to the website, and using the lot of the number you will see on the bottle, you're going to be able actually to go through and to go until the milling, until the farmer, by the way, because as I told you, traceability is so important, because we actually have such a strong relationship with our supplier, and so we actually want to know until the tree. We want to know from the beginning, because if you remember, I told you there is no way to go back. The people need to, everything needs to be done in the perfect way. And so, just to clicking on and use the lot number, you can go through and see the milling. Have more information about the cultivar, the sensory, let's say, characteristic. Also, you can have a recipe and maybe have some good idea to go through. And that's actually very, there is a lot of work behind, and there is a lot of pride behind. Thank you for your question.
Sure. Then we have another question from one of our pantry insiders, and it is, how is the oil imported from the countries all around the world to the U.S., to Baltimore, where it's bottled?
Yeah, that's another, let's say, stronger point. We bring oil from around the world by big ship or by a big container. So we bring the oil, we choose our oil. We have a people in the round that follow all the crop in order to, let us know what is the good moment to have the oil. So we pick up the best in around, as I told you before, North Hemisphere and South Hemisphere. So all year long freshness, and we actually bring to Baltimore, where actually we actually evaluate what we're tasting today and what you can have in the store tomorrow. And in this way, we are able to, let's say, bottling, and just in a month later, you are going to have the oil in your table. And that is very important, because it's the good way to transport the oil, because you have a big amount in the dark area, in the temperature control, and then you bring here, instead of just shipping something already bottled that can be easily damaged by the light, by the temperature, and so on. So that's our way to work. And when the oil arrives, it's my duty, and not just my duty, but all the duty of the QA department and research department of Pompeian, to check everything, quality, purity, and to check the flavor, and to do the best blend in order to have consistent flavor will be here.
Great. So we have another question from a pantry insider, and I know, as we were going through the tasting, you had suggested that, you could sip on some water in between tasting. She mentioned that she was, sipping on white wine. I guess when professionals do the tasting, like, is there anything that they use to clean their palate in between, or how does that process work?
First of all, when we do professionally, as the panel that we have in Pompeian, but as the other panel that is around the world, they need to follow a precise rule, let's say, provided by the International Olive Oil Council. You always have, need to have no more than 4 samples every section. So you mean 4 up to 5 samples, no more than 2 hours. You need to have 10 minutes between one and the other. You need to actually clean with the water. Sometimes the people use a slice of apple, and then, waiting. But you need to give to your sense the possibility to be ready again. Mm-hmm. And then it's my job as a panel leader sometimes to also choose the selection of the oil. So you always give, the lighter one before the strong one, because you want to have but is a professional job that is behind. But to answer your question, yes, a slice of apple, a little bit of water, and a few minutes between one and the other.
Great. And then another question is, how long does olive oil keep in your pantry or stay good?
Yeah, it's variable, but in most of the cases, the quality of oil is also affecting the shelf life of the extra virgin olive oil. Normally, we recommend to do not keep the oil longer than 18 months when you have a bottle closed. But better fresh you have is better for taste and flavor and quality. If I need to be strong, I would say no over than 18 months. But if you storage in the good way, and when I say storage in the good way, it means far from the light, so dark place, and far from the heat.
Great. So we just got another question. And the question is, I love making desserts with olive oil. Is there an oil from the varietals collection in particular that you would use for a dessert?
Yeah, as I told you, I love to cook, but I'm not a very lover to do dessert, because dessert is so difficult. So I always stay away from the dessert because it's too difficult for me. But I tasted last week an ice cream by the Arbequina, and it was amazing. And I'm sure that depending on which kind of dessert you have, for instance, sometimes the dessert, when you use olive oil, you can use olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, in 2 ways. Let's say for similarity, so you have something delicate and you put something delicate on top, or you can also use another concept that is something that you use something strong on top of something delicate. So you are free to do whatever you want. I cannot give you a suggestion in which kind of dessert you want to do, but I tasted more than once. I also tasted chocolate, and the chocolate is spiced by itself. So if you use a spicy oil, a pepper oil, very bitter, you can always find a way to have a different perspective, a different taste, even for the chocolate. So everything is possible.
Great. So we just got another question, and I know you just covered this from a dessert perspective, but for the picholine oil, you mentioned in the webcast that it was good for use on sauces. So for the other varietals, so for the Arbequina and the Koroniki, like, what are the best dishes that you've tried with those oils?
Again, as I told you before, I'm a olive oil lover, and I'm Italian. So I'm used to put, for instance, fresh and Koroniki on top of the pasta, and just a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano is wonderful. You have a smell that comes to you. To me, it's wonderful. Maybe, I don't know, it can be too simple, but sometimes simplicity, it can be work. And obviously, you can change the flavor of the sauce, because if you put picholine in the sauce, and in the sauce you have or in the soup, on the water you highlight the pungency. So you want to do spicy character to the sauce, you use picholine, you can get it. You use Arbequina, you have something smooth. So it's depending on what you want to do.
Great. So another question we just got is the extra virgin olive oil a blend of different types of olives? And if so, what olive varieties are in the extra virgin oil?
For instance, in this particular one, we have a mixture at least of 3 or 4 different varieties. Here we have, for instance, the Arbequina, we have the Frantoio from Chile, we have the Hoy Blanca from Spain, we have a little bit of Coroneiki, and let me see. Yes, actually, you see from the back, you can see that's our kind of traceability. You say the country of origin, and this is done because one time during the year you have the freshness that comes from the south, and sometimes you have from the other one. So you always have a tool to get the best.
The best flavor for the extra virgin olive oil.
For flavor. So all of them are extra virgin. All of them are extra virgin. Different type that you can blend together.
Yeah, great. And then since we're talking about the extra virgin olive oil, another question we just got was, can you speak more to the USDA quality monitored seal? Is Pompeian the only olive oil in the U.S. that has this? Yeah. And then what does the USDA actually look for when they're doing the inspection?
They first of all, as I told you, they come unannounced. It means they come with whatever they want. They come there and they normally come to see our process, our factory, and after that they check our process, our factory, our standard procedure, and then they go in deep of olive oil. They check the quality, they check what we did, they check what the supplier did. So all the certificate of analysis. They also check our sensory evaluation. Then they're going to go in deep on traceability. They're going to see actually if in this bottle they come and say, okay, they grab this sample. And they are going to say, they come to our QA department and say, okay, now you show me actually all the documents that are allowed to you to put this list of country of origin. They go very in deep. They go very in deep, and we are glad. We are very happy on that because we changed the mentality of the company. Now everybody is so excited, so let's say serious and commitment to this kind of point because it's very important for us. And so they come and they actually allow to us. Anytime they do analysis, they send the sample to 2 different laboratories, and they're going to allow to us to use the seal.
And we're the only national company using the seal.
We are the first, and we are the only one.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's not for free. It means it's a lot of energy.
Yeah. To make sure that the quality is good. Okay, we just got another question about storing olive oil. So I know a lot of people store their oils above the stove in a cabinet above the stove. So is that a good idea? And would the heat radiating up from the stove impact the oil?
I think the question will answer by itself. It's not a good idea in general. Let's say I will keep below if I can, or I keep it a little bit later because you actually temperature, to give you an example, 10 degrees of Fahrenheit, actually speaking Celsius, 10 degrees of temperature can double the reaction. So the shelf life of one oil at 20 Celsius, that can be something close to 65 Fahrenheit, is way longer than keep at 30 Celsius. That is something close to 90 Fahrenheit. So it's better to keep close, dark, and possible not too close to the oven.
Great. And then another question is, how much butter should you swap for olive oil? Like if you want to use olive oil instead of butter, like what's the ratio?
Normally, I would say the ratio is always a little bit less. The difference is huge, but if you wanna have a good let's say table comparison or conversion between butter and extra virgin olive oil or olive oil in general, you can actually visit our website and you are going to find this conversion table that can help you to make your decision.
Great. I think that's all the questions that we have for today. So thank you to all of our Pompeian Pantry Insiders as well as Dr. Lucito. Should any of our Pantry Insiders have questions, following the webcast, please email them to Aaron or myself, and we'll make sure that you get the answers to everything. So thank you, Luisito, and everyone have a good night.
It was my pleasure. Say hello to everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.